let's go to the Zoom machine and say hello to the founder, the CEO, the chairman, Chatri Sityodtong, who's in the exact same spot as he was several months ago when he was on the program. How are you, sir?
Good, man. Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. And I always appreciate you staying up very late over there. I wish that we can make the time zones a little closer. So I'm sorry if it's a burden on your life, but we do appreciate you coming on.
No, man. No worries.
So can I ask, how's life over there? I'm always fascinated by this. Just right now with the pandemic and everything, how would you describe life?
Obviously, the last 2 years have been very, very rough out here in Asia. And the main reason is every government has a different response. And some governments have a zero COVID response, and so borders are shut. And other governments, are partially open, and then, lockdowns, and so it's been quite difficult. And I'd say this whole Omicron thing, the last 3 months here, or last couple of months rather, have definitely caused concern again all over Asia. I think Japan went into lockdown, and Thailand did too. And so it's just touch and go. But at the same time, from what I gather from my friends in the medical community, the Omicron virus is very mild relative to, Delta or the original COVID. So I'm fairly optimistic. I think next 1 to 2 months might be rough, but then after that, I think it's knock on wood, the world is going to come back to normal, and Asia will be back to normal, and borders will open up.
Can't wait for that. And I think we all share that sentiment. You guys have an event this Friday, so you're back, your first event of the year this Friday. Now, is this open to the public, or is it just the closed?
It's limited fans. It's limited fans only.
Okay.
So the capacity in Singapore Inter Stadium is 12,000, and we're only going to allow the Singapore government is only allowing a few hundred. So yeah, it's still pretty much under control. I think the first full stadium event will be March 26th, which. I might as well just announce it here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're getting right to the news. I was trying to foreplay into the news, Chatri, but you're getting right to it. I love it. I was trying to give us, a little bit of time to jump, but that's great. Let's jump right in. What do we got?
So, our 10th year anniversary show, the biggest show in the history of the company, 1X, was delayed last year. So December of last year, was pushed out indefinitely because of COVID spiking here in Singapore. And then, lo and behold, we have a lot of more confidence in what's happening. So March 26th, 1X goes down. So that crazy fight between DJ and Rotang. Obviously, DJ needs no introduction. The GOAT of MMA, who is then going to fight against Rotang, who has over 300 professional fights in Muay Thai. I think he's 267 wins and 42 losses or something like that.
Incredible.
And it's going to be a mixed bout. It's going to be the first round is going to be 3 minutes of Muay Thai. Second round is going to be 3 minutes of MMA. Third round, 3 minutes of Muay Thai, and fourth round, 3 minutes of MMA.
By the way, I don't know if
one fight that's going to happen, and I'm glad it's finally happening.
Oh, yes. By the way, why isn't it 5 rounds?
Just wanted to keep it, even. And to be honest, I just don't see it. I mean, either DJ is going to get knocked out badly in the first round, or, Rotang gets subbed badly in the second round. That's what I predict. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because Rotang has been working on his takedown defense, and obviously DJ says he's going to go toe-to-toe. DJ said he's not going to run around. He's going to go Muay Thai for Muay Thai. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, when you announced this a few months ago on the program, everyone was very excited, and then everyone was subsequently very down when the card had to be postponed. Yeah. So this is very exciting. This will not be the only big fight on the card, correct?
No, yeah, exactly. So we're going to have the return of Angela Lee, the atomweight world champion. She was out of commission for the last couple of years with her pregnancy, and now she's ready to take on the atomweight Grand Prix champion, Stam Fairtex. Angela is 10-2, Stam Fairtex 8-1. But what's fascinating about this fight is Stam Fairtex, as you probably recall, Ariel, we do fights. We don't just do MMA. We do kickboxing, Muay Thai, submission grappling, and all the other different martial arts. And Stam has been a world champion in kickboxing as well as Muay Thai. She eventually lost those titles. And she's vying to be the first person in history to win an MMA world title and have be a 3-sport world champion.
Wow. And this will be Angela Lee's first fight since October of 2019. So she hasn't fought in the pandemic era. As you mentioned, she gave birth and she's taken some time off, but she returns to defend her title. You didn't strip her of the belt. You just had the Grand Prix. Stamp wins the Grand Prix, and now they will essentially come together and fight.
Obviously we were assessing our options when Angela had called me and she said, "Look, Chatri, I'm pregnant and I won't be able to compete for a while." And we thought about it, and I thought about it, and I just thought, like, the right thing to do is, if this was a regular job, a woman gets pregnant, you're supposed to celebrate and not penalize. So I thought stripping was the wrong thing. And so we did an atomweight World Grand Prix with 8 of the best females from around the world at atomweight, and the winner, Stan Fairtex, the 2-time world champion, 2-sport world champion, and now vying for a 3rd world title. Now,
will that be the main event?
That will be the main event, yes.
Okay. Any other big fights on that 10th anniversary show that you could tell us about?
Yeah, we have Adriano Moraes, our flyweight world champion, 19-3, who knocked out DJ last April. He's fighting Yuya Wakamatsu, who is 15-4, I think 11 or 12 knockouts. So he has like an 80%, 85% knockout ratio, something like that. That's going to be a barn burner of a fight. I mean, that's definitely not going to go the distance. And we have a bunch of other fights I just not ready to announce. So those 3 fights I'm ready to announce, and March 26th, obviously. And it'll be the first time in 2 years where we haven't had a full stadium. So March 26th is going to be super exciting to have the entire Singapore Indoor Stadium fully packed once again.
And that arena fully packed, what does that mean? How many people?
The Singapore Indoor Stadium is a 12,000 seater.
Okay. And obviously this is a big deal. And obviously you have fans around the world. And we talked about this last time you were on, the deal with Turner coming up. Could you tell us how will fans be able to not only watch this March 26th 10th anniversary show, but the one that you have coming up this Friday? And also we'll get to one in February as well. But where can fans, especially here in North America, watch the One Championship events?
So I believe that we will conclude our U.S. media discussions and have a partner, I'd say the next several weeks, few weeks, maybe. We're late stage negotiations with 3 media broadcasters in the U.S., major ones. And we'll just have to, we're at the final stage of negotiations.
Okay.
We're in the whole deal negotiations phase, and we'll select a partner, and hopefully we get everything wrapped up so that American fans can enjoy one, on a very regular basis in primetime U.S. time zone.
Are you happy with where things stand right now? The options that you have?
Yeah, I'm very happy with one option, like super ecstatic. The other 2 options are solid options, but let's see how everything shakes out.
And could I ask?
EAA is representing us in the U.S., so they are the ones that have been leading this roadshow, so to speak, and we're at the very end of the roadshow. We thought it was going to conclude, honestly, by December, but just again the whole COVID thing, things got out of sync. It's one of these things, and normally I'd fly to the U.S. and I'd meet everybody, all the CEOs of different podcasters, and everything was done on Zoom. So it's a little bit harder to get everything going, right?
Could I ask, and if you can't answer, I totally respect that as well, but are you going, digital only, like streaming platform only? Is it going to be a combination of 2 that you're looking at? Linear only? What could you tell us?
I'll just say we're talking to major broadcasters, which would include, both sets.
Okay. All right. So obviously that's not going to come into play for this Friday, right? So like for the interim, how do fans watch the event right now?
Oh, it's still with Turner. It's still with Bleacher.
Oh, it is still with Bleacher. Okay. Until the new deal is signed?
Right. Exactly.
Gotcha. So the BR Live app and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Bleacher YouTube, actually, I think.
Okay. Is this free? Is this one on Friday free?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You have a protege of Khabib Nurmagomedov on the card on Friday.
Right. Sagid. Yes. 19-2. He's going to be fighting James Nakashima at 12-2. So it's basically 2 wrestlers, Dagestani wrestling versus American wrestling.
Yeah. And I think he's in Singapore to corner Sagid as well. So always great when you have the Eagle in attendance. Now, okay, so that's for March 26th. Any chance we see the likes of maybe Shinya or Sage, those guys on that, or TBD?
They will be on the card. I don't know how you found out.
No, I mean they're
you have eyes everywhere.
They're big
I
names.
can't say who they're fighting. I can't say who they're fighting, but because the bouts haven't been set. But yes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's the nose knows.
Well, the nose knows. Yes, that has been said. What about Eddie? By the way, what about the Underground King?
He will also, yes. So we also plan to have him on. I mean, yeah.
Is he coming back?
It's going to be a big show. I mean, it's the biggest. I mean, it's called 1X. It's our 10th year anniversary show. It's going to be the biggest in history. So you can expect the first 3 fights I gave you is literally just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to have tons of fights. I think we're going to have 18 fights or 20 fights. And it's going to go all day. And it's going to be a big bonanza with, all the big stars coming out.
Excited to see Adriana Moraes come back after that big win over DJ. Excited to see Angela Lee return after the pregnancy. Obviously, the DJ fight is just incredibly fascinating to everyone involved. But you have an event between the one on Friday and the one on March 26th coming up as well that is yet to be announced. What could you tell us about that one?
Yeah, we have an event every 2 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, every 2 weeks up here.
A big one.
Lineker, from my memory, Lineker and Bibiano are going to fight. So Bibiano's our bantamweight world champion fighting against Lineker. And that one is, man, I'm blanking. I want to say that is, that's February
11th. Yes. I'll break the news for you, Chatri. February 11th. One Bad Blood. Now, that's for the bantamweight title. Bibiano hasn't fought also since October of 20.
There's real bad blood between Bibi and Lineker. I mean, they Brazilian style. They've already called each other and said, "Let's get into it. Let's fight in the streets in Rio." Like they are just or Manaus rather.
Yes,
but they are. There's real rival, real anger, and I'd say hatred.
Wow. Lineker has been a great signing for you guys. Bibiano has been one of your best champions ever. Hasn't fought since October of 2019. This fight was supposed to be originally on the 1X card. Any particular reason why you did it now before the rescheduled date?
Yeah, I mean, Bibi was out because we were in contract negotiations, and things didn't go well until they did go well in the end for everybody. And then we got Bibi a fight right away, rather than have him wait. Right, just let's get it on, and so yeah, he just yeah. I mean, it's just one of these things. The timing worked out, and you would do it earlier.
I like it. Why not? So okay, so that's One Bad Blood, as you said. That is very exciting. I saw a report. And I want to give credit to the outlet, and I'm blanking on it. I don't want to mess it up. They talk to your guys a lot, and they cover you very well. It's like the South something Post overseas. You know what I'm talking about? You know the outlet that I'm talking about?
Yes, SCMP.
SCMP,
Nick
South
Atkins
China.
Is the man.
Yeah, he does a great job of covering you guys. And I saw a report. I'm wondering if you can confirm it. Are you guys going to be giving out bonuses now? I saw a report just yesterday, $50,000 bonuses.
Yeah, so we've always given out $50,000 bonuses, but it wasn't every event. It was just it was very like if there were spectacular performances. We've been giving out for the last several years, but this year is the first year in which we will give out every single show. Several of these $50,000 bonuses, and our main criteria is performance, of course, but gameness. And gameness we define as fighting every second of the fight to finish. So even a loser, someone who loses can win. And we gave this bonus. Timofey Nastyukhin, who knocked out Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah,
he fought Dagi Arslanov just a few weeks ago. And man, all right, you got to watch this fight. It was insane. I don't know if you saw it. I mean, no one expected it to be this crazy, and it was a crazy barn burner. And Dagi ended up knocking out Timofey, and I decided, both of them get 50,000 because it was just a crazy gameness.
I love it. So it doesn't matter the size of the card. If you're worthy of something like this, you're going to get it now if you're fighting for one. By the way,
and it's for all martial arts. So it's for MMA, it's for Muay Thai, kickboxing, it's for submission grappling, etc.
What is the status? It was very exciting, especially to fellow Canadians when Arjun Buller won the heavyweight title. What's going on with Arjun? Are you guys not able to come
So Arjun, we've been unfortunately having negotiations difficulties, but it does look like there is light at the end of the tunnel. I just spoke to Nez, who's the head of sports at CAA. A outstanding gentleman, a really good guy, and I think we've come to happy terms where everyone feels good and that we want to move forward together. So, but yeah, it was pretty rough initially. The last, I'd say, I don't know, maybe a year. I don't know actually, because I wasn't involved in those negotiations until the very, very last minute, literally, where they're like, we're not going to get anything solved, Chatri, unless you step in. And I genuinely don't get involved in an athlete. So that's normally Matt Hume and his department. Maybe 3 times, 5 times a year, I'll get involved with athlete discussions.
Okay, but it's looking good. Is there any chance he fights on any of these upcoming cards? The February 11th one, the March 26th one?
Yeah. It's definitely looking good. And look, I'm a fan of Arjun. I think he's a phenomenal guy, and I think he's a outstanding athlete. And he represents a country that has 1.3 billion people, and we have one is on the largest broadcaster there, right? Free to air as well as digital. So it makes sense for all of us to work together.
Okay. By the way, big card coming up on March 26th, as you just announced, 1X, full stadium. What are the chances that we see a super fight, if you will, Chatri Sityodtong against Dana White? I couldn't help but notice on the one social feeds. It looks like you were calling him out. I don't know what was going on.
I wasn't calling him out. I mean, I think our social media team was having fun with it. Okay. I filmed me training, whatever, and just had fun with it. But but I did, I replied to them and I said, hey, send me the location. Since I was meeting Khabib anyways here.
Okay. So you're not looking for a fight. You're not trying to pick a fight with Dana.
I didn't say that, but I said social media team was having fun with it. I went with it, right?
Okay.
So.
No. Okay. So wait, does that mean you are trying to pick a fight? I'm confused.
Well, no, I mean, I'm a lifelong martial artist. I've been doing Muay Thai for 35 years, and I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. I train 5-6 times a week. I mean, if there's a fight, someone my age, why not? I'm 51. I'm 50, turning 51 this year. Yeah, I mean, I train 5-6 days a week, and 1 to 2 hours every day.
Have you ever considered fighting on any one of your cards?
Our marketing team has definitely asked me to do so, and I said, look, if it was the right opponent, but I mean, it has to be the right opponent. So
maybe Jake Paul.
Who knows?
Are you? How should I put this? An admirer of Dana's? Like, do you have professional respect for what he's built, what he's done, or how do you feel about it?
I think he is an outstanding businessman. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily agree with the way he does things, but I mean, obviously, he's built UFC, into a phenomenal company. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But I don't think he knows anything about martial arts. I think he's, I don't think he knows anything about fighting. I think he's a fan. So I have differences. Like I just, I come from the martial arts community. I come from the martial arts background. And how I treat my athletes, they are my peers. I come from the community. It's very, very different. Mm-hmm. I think if you've never been punched in the face or choked out, you can disrespect people publicly. But if you have had hard training, lifelong hard training, so I just say we have stylistic differences, right? I mean, I don't particularly respect the way he talks down to athletes.
That's fair. What about fighter pay right now? It's a hot topic again in our sport. Do you feel like you guys are paying the fighters, a fair portion of the pie as opposed to what some of the North American promotions are doing?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think athletes complain. From our end, like we have good. Again, you're always going to have a few people who disagree with you, but I'd say like 95% of our roster, we are in good, good relationships. I mean, overall, there's a positive energy with our relationship. And again, it's obviously not everybody, right? There's going to be people who are unhappy, but I'm saying overall, whether it's Muay Thai or MMA or kickboxing or submission grappling, I think people, we take our time to make sure that we pay top of market.
In order to,
that's why DJ would join, or Eddie would join,
sure,
or Sage, or any of these guys, right? And our current champions, right? I mean, of course, like any organization, there are always going to be athletes who think they should get paid more, and if it's logical, then we will pay more. But I think the idea for our approach, at least, is to try to have a win-win approach, genuinely, a partnership approach with our athletes. So if they deliver value, then we pay them, because it's symbiotic.
Absolutely. In order to compete at these events, on these cards, do you have to be fully vaccinated?
Singapore, that's a government requirement by Singapore to enter the country.
Okay. Has that been an issue?
No. What's been more of an issue, again, is the fact that every government, Asia is 4.2 billion people, but you go half an hour, it's a different government, it's a different constitution, different everything. So the hard part is every government has its own individualistic response to COVID. So some governments shut borders completely, and then that makes travel impossible.
Sure.
Some governments are on full lockdown, and the timing of everything, right? So that's what makes it really, really tricky out here in Asia. I mean, look at China. China has a zero COVID policy.
Right.
Like zero. And that country, I mean, China also has, 1 billion plus people.
Right. One thing that I would love to see, I want to know your response to this, and correct me if I'm misguided here. I would love to see, because I think your weigh-in format is very interesting, and you try to promote healthy weight cuts and the hydration and all that stuff. Why don't you film the official weigh-ins? Because I saw, recently Estela Nunez called you guys out and said Angela Lee missed weight and all this stuff. Why not, for the sake of transparency, just film the weigh-in so that no one can accuse anyone of any nefarious dealings? Yeah,
so we have started doing that, Ariel. We have started doing that.
Okay,
yeah.
So all of them are filmed and broadcasted?
Live stream on YouTube, yeah.
Okay, the official one. It's not like the ceremonial, like the actual one that they're
no, not the ceremonial.
Okay, great.
The official one. I mean, I think COVID restrictions has hit, for example, we're only allowed to have a certain amount of people at any given point in time. But we started live streaming the real weigh-ins, not ceremonial weigh-ins. I want to say a year, 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. You saw her comments, right, where she said that Angela Lee missed weight and she was robbed of 30%. What did you make of those?
I mean, she's a bald-faced liar. She's also a steroid cheat.
Okay. All right. We shall leave it at that. You got the Netflix show coming out, right? The Apprentice. Is that going to be available here in the United States as well on Netflix, or is it just in Asia?
It'll be a different premiere date, but yes, we are a global premiere, 150 plus countries around the world on February 1st. A few select countries like the US and UK and Australia who have historical, apprentices will have a different premiere date.
Okay. You don't know the date yet?
I can't, because I can't talk about it until the distribution partner is secure.
Okay. I loved, I saw that on your Instagram. I loved on your Instagram recently, you posted something about, just the humble beginnings, about your time at Harvard. And you wrote something that was really, amazing to read. Correct me if I'm wrong. While you were a student there, did your mother have to live in your dorm with you because it was tough times? So how did you even get around? And how did you feel as a student having your mother living with you? Because that's not a very common thing.
Yeah. I mean, we had to hide it from the, administration at Harvard.
Wow.
But, I had one of these key card things where you swipe the dorm, to get in the door, and my mom and I would time it. And I lived in a single in Morris Hall, which is a small little, tiny little room. And I slept on the floor. My mom slept in bed. And I mean, she had literally nowhere else to live. So, and I wasn't wealthy. I was obviously poor. My family went bankrupt, and my father eventually abandoned the family. So, it was a tough time, a really, really tough time.
It's incredible what you wrote. By the way, have you ever heard from your father ever again?
5 years ago, 6 years ago, I went into, I didn't for many, many years. And then 5, 6 years ago, 2016, I reached out to my relatives in Thailand and looked for him. And I did reconcile with him. I wouldn't say it was great, but I wanted to, find peace for our hearts. I wanted to forgive him, and I wanted to hear also why he abandoned the family. And I found him, he was dirt poor and he was old and frail. And unfortunately, he ended up having a stroke, and he was paralyzed completely, except for consciousness. 100%. I didn't even know this kind of thing existed, right? Where you could be completely conscious, 100% conscious. Your brain works 100%, but your body's completely, it doesn't work anymore. Except for his eyes.
Wow.
And so he ended up living that way for 2 years before he passed away. And he passed away a few years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So it wasn't a happy, perfect ending, but there was some level of reconciliation.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It was a lovely thing that you wrote, and I would urge anyone to go check it out on your Instagram. So to recap, you got a show this Friday. Check it out. February 11th, Bad Blood, great fight between Lineker and Fernandez, years in the making. And then you've got 1X. You've just announced 3 great fights for that. And very excited to see DJ and Angela Lee and everyone involved as well. I appreciate you doing this. And is my guy Mansouri, is he doing well? Mike Mansouri, the legend, how's he doing? You treating him well over there?
Yes. He's our new executive producer. As you know, he spent, I think, 11 or 14 years with WWE under Vince.
Yeah.
He and his fiance moved out here to Singapore. They've been here now for a week and a half officially.
Wow.
And I had coffee with him today, and good guy. But I mean, he's really gonna do some crazy stuff to our show and elevate it. As you know, we announced our U.S. broadcast partner, and I think American fans are gonna be happy.
I can't wait for that.
Knock on wood that everything goes. Knock on wood, everything goes smoothly with the final stages of our deal negotiations.
Yeah.
And then announcement. Then Mansouri is going to work his magic, man.
I can't wait. That's a tremendous hire by you guys, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where you land with that TV deal, that distribution deal. So congrats on the big announcements. I appreciate it, Chatri. You can go to bed now. Thank you so much for coming on, and the best of luck to you guys this Friday as well.
Hey, thank you so much, Ariel. As always, I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. There he is, the chairman, the CEO, the founder of One Championship. Always fun